Everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm here today to show you how I made this really pretty card featuring the Welcoming Window bundle from Stampin' Up. This is part of the Blogging with Friends blog hop, and it's spring fever themed. And so I created this really pretty window scene with some flowers, and it just kind of reminds me of spring. Our flowers here on the West Coast are starting to poke out, particularly, the daffodils and the crocuses are starting to peek out, and we're starting to see some of the cherry blossoms as well. So it's always a sure sign that spring's on the way. So let me just switch over to my desktop and I'll get started. So this is the card that I shared on the blog hop today, and I just really love how I'm going to say clean and simple, but just really a pretty card. So I use the brick embossing folder to give some dimension to my card front, and then I've cut out the shutters, the pots, as well as the flowers, sentiment, and added some rhinestones. And then when you open it up, of course, you have the window piece that is through the card. So let me show you how I made this. So I've got a piece of thick basic white cardstock that I'm just going to fold in half. And a nice crease with my bone folder. All of the measurements and written instructions for the card will be underneath this video, so you'll be able to go out and get them. So 5.5 by 8.5 folded in half. Then I've got a piece of basic white, just the regular, not the thick, cardstock that is 4 inches by 5.25. And then I've got a scrap of smoky slate and a scrap of basic white that will go for the flowers. So the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So the first thing you want to do, my well-loved plates, I really probably shouldn't replace them at some point, is position your piece of basic white cardstock on to your card base, where you want it to go, and we're going to cut out my dies in here, cut out the window. So you want to hold this in place, position this so that it is equal. You can measure it if you want. I'm going to hope my eyeballs are roughly. So position it, put it down so it doesn't shift, and run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's going through 2 pieces of paper, and one of them is the thick basic white, so it does take a bit of a drop. Now, I see that it didn't go through all the way, so I'm just going to take and reposition my window, cut the basic white, the thin, but it didn't go all the way through. So like I said, it's going through 3 pieces of cardstock, and one of them is thick, so it might take, run it through. There we go. I'm sure that's cut through. When you pull it off, yeah, it's through now. All right, so you want to do this before, get those pieces out, before you emboss your card front, because you will find, take that out, that your embossing, you will lose the embossing if you run it through, cut it after you've embossed. All right, so now we're going to emboss using this brick embossing folder. So you just want to emboss the front piece. And get my other plate. So there we go. That gives you the brick for your front of your car with the window opening in it. Now, while we've got the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here, I'm going to take and cut out the shutters. I'm going to cut out, there are 2 pots, so there are 2 different dies, 2 dies for the pots, which makes it very easy. And while we're here, let's cut our, I don't know what they're called, brackets, maybe, for the shutters. Okay. So there's a little bit of cutting for this. It is a bit fussy. And then some of them are little tiny pieces, so you have to kind of be careful that you don't lose them. Look at that. There's my shelf, my little brackets, my shutters. Okay, so and then my two pots. So there's my shutters for my card, my shelf, and all my 2 little pots. I said there's some little pieces here. Okay, so we'll just put this aside. I'm going to need that in just a minute. So the next thing I want to do is stamp. So these are all the dies. Let's put those off to the side. So here's the welcoming window stamp, and I just need a block. Okay, here's a block. And I want to right one, that's the right one. And then, so there are flowers and so there's 2 different sets of flowers, and you just have to make sure you pick the right set of flowers to go on. So I've only got 1 block, so we'll use the same block. But what you want to do is, I'm going to use this is Dark Old Olive Stampin' Blend. And this works, if you're pretty quick with this will work to stamp, but you have to be pretty quick because the alcohol will dry. So you want to stamp 2 of these.